Tom Aspinall recently shared that the names of his next potential opponents keep changing, almost on a daily basis.
That interview aired. Tom Aspinall posted this on Threads. He wrote, "Training for so many different opponents can be hard work. Trilogy against Blades?"
Tom Aspinall's the guy. He's the guy.
Dana White says I'm his man. We love that. We love that on the channel.
And what about Francis Ngannou? You having him? You want some?
The day that I start ducking out of fights and turning opponents down and stuff like that is the day that I'm going to retire. So, as I've always said, and you can ask any promoter I've ever worked with, any guys at the UFC, I'll fight anyone, I'll fight anytime, and I'll fight anywhere. Never turn down a fight in my life, never will. The day that I start thinking about turning down fights is the day that I'll retire. So, to answer the question, whoever they want me to fight is who I'm going to fight.
Tom Aspinall says the situation behind the scenes has been pure chaos, with the UFC throwing out new opponent names almost daily. Fans and analysts alike are stunned at how unclear things are for the interim champ. Despite all the uncertainty, Tom is locked in, training at full throttle. The only problem? He still has no idea who he's actually preparing to face.
Jon Jones has basically confirmed that he actually is indeed fighting Tom Aspinall.
When are you fighting Tom?
The UFC, and Tom, we all got a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. They're one of the biggest organizations in sports. Right now, Tom and I have agreed to wait for the UFC to make their announcements. So I'm legally talk about it.
Let me know what you think in the comments to this.
Nah, man, Jon's retired. What are we talking about, guys? Jon, you guys don't follow Jon on social media?
I don't follow him on social media. He said that.
No, me too, actually. Me too, but the guy is living his best life. He's had a fantastic career, we all know. We know Jon's a religious man, so I want to say God bless him moving forward in what he does with his life and his career. And, you know, we move on. We move on. I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I'm ready to take on all comers, get this division moving again. Us guys have been waiting around too long. You know, the contenders are getting sick of it. Everybody's getting sick of it. Even the fans are getting sick of this stuff. So Jon's retired and it's time that we move on.
1 week, the name floating around is Alexander Volkov. The next, it's Jailton Almeida. Then suddenly, fans start connecting the dots to Cyril Gane, especially with that Paris card coming up in September, but looming over all of it is the giant question mark named Jon Jones, still silent, still undecided, and casting a long shadow over the entire heavyweight division.
What would it take to fight Tom Aspinall from the UFC? Like, what does the UFC got to do?
Said something real wild on off the cuff. I'll see you guys later.
That's it.
Yeah,
right.
Thanks for the happy
Jon Jones, the legend.
I don't want to say that I'm retired because fighting's in my blood. Right now, I could really care less about fighting. I've been doing it my whole life at a very high level. When the itch comes back, and if it comes back, then I'll do it with my whole heart. I'll do it to the best of my abilities. But right now, I see the way people look at me and the way I make people feel. Now my job is to serve that, give that to my fans, let them know what I have inside. I've punched and kicked enough people. What's that Italian phrase? Came, saw, and conquered. That's genuinely how I feel. It's been great, man. Life's been so amazing.
What do you make of like Tom Aspinall and all the things that...
I think he's awesome, man. I think he's awesome. I think he should go on and have a wonderful career. When you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
Whew. That was deep. That was dope.
He's just not in the position to like excite me. It's just the truth.
For a fighter like Tom, who's right in the peak of his career, this kind of uncertainty is a nightmare. He's not just waiting around, he's ready to step up and show the world he's the real king of the heavyweight division.
Who's next big heavyweight star?
Tom Aspinall, the guy who just won the interim title. He's phenomenal, and he is again the next the next advancement of the evolution of the sport.
How so?
Well, because he can do everything. That guy's got elite jiu-jitsu. He's got elite takedowns. His striking is outstanding. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem because he's a heavyweight and he's a big guy, a really big guy, but he moves so fast. And so his speed has always been like extraordinary compared to other heavyweights. Like he just fucking moves in. It's all like fast, explosive movements. So he's got natural speed, but then he's also got a lot of training to execute quickly. So when he moves in, he closes the gap. You can see like he's fast for a big guy.
Right. I want to see it so bad.
Jon was shitting all over Aspinall, saying that
I think that's
lucky,
a bad way to go.
He was lucky that he blew his knee out with Curtis Blades because Curtis was teeing off
Doing
on
well.
him. Unless Jon avoided him, unless Jon used his wrestling to avoid exchanges.
Hey, can I ask you about Tom Aspinall real quick? Yeah. Do you think if he got in there against the likes of Jon Jones, do you think he's potentially got the talent to get it done?
I think he's got the talent to do it, get it done, but Jon Jones is a savage, isn't he? He's unreal.
What he done against Cyril Gane was crazy, wasn't it? Like, Cyril's a beast, isn't he? Like a fucking monster, and he just made him look like a kid.
I look at Cyril Gane and look at Tom, and I think they're similar fighters, but Tom's just a bit faster. Do you know what I mean? Tom's a bit faster than heavyweight.
And I think Tom's probably got the better jiu-jitsu as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
And better wrestling.
Yeah, I'd imagine, I've not seen loads of Cyril Gane's jiu-jitsu, but I'd imagine Tom's is better,
The best heavyweight MMA fighter in the world. By default, that also makes you the baddest man on the planet. If you were toe-to-toe with any other man in the world, you could them.
What do they call him? SAS? He's trained to maim and hurt. These people are trained to they want to render you lifeless.
Completely agree, but I do have a counter argument. We are trained to hurt each other. That's part of the sport. They are trained to poke eyes, knee in the groin. When the rules are taken away, who's to say that we can't headbutt them? If we're talking no weapons, you could get any MMA fighter and put him against a SAS special. 9 times out of 10, the MMA guy will come out on top.
The worst part? He's stuck prepping for 4 totally different styles, constantly switching strategies. Just in case the UFC finally makes a decision and locks someone in.
Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones fight. It's a bit different now, right? Because Jon's been tweeting a lot about the fact that he's told you his plans, he's ready to vacate the belt, and all the rest of it.
He said he's ready to vacate the belt?
He said he doesn't care if you strip it, but he would vacate it.
Crazy. Yeah, I've been busy. I haven't been keeping up with the gossip. He comes back. He's either back today or came back yesterday or whenever he was in Thailand. So he's home. We'll be home tonight. And Tuesday, we'll figure this out.
If he doesn't fight, because he also called out Francis Ngannou. He said he'd rather fight Francis, which I assume...
Who did?
Jon.
Yeah.
Okay. Not that interested in that then. But if he doesn't fight Tom Aspinall and he does walk away, do you think he's ducked him? Would you?
Tom Aspinall's the guy. He's the guy. I don't know. Yeah, well, let's see how this plays. Listen, if the guy wants to retire and doesn't want to fight, nothing you do. I didn't want Habib to retire. I thought DC should have stayed in it longer. So it's none of my business. I'll do what I can to make the fight if we can. If he's talking that crazy, I didn't realize that.
In terms of playing it forward, I think he means go and fight the next guy. And if you get past the next guy, then it's still your time. But if you don't get past the next guy, as with every other thing in sports, there's always a moment where the new breed kind of comes in and they surpass the old breed. Jon Jones knows that better than anybody. He has surpassed the new breed and the old breed multiple times over the course of his career and his run as world champion. He's one of the greatest champions of all time. He's beaten everybody. He went through the old guard, meaning he went through Vitor, he went through Shogun, he went through Rampage. He literally put all those guys in the rearview mirror, and then he moved on, and he hit Rashad, and then he hit Gustafsson, who was a new guy. Then he hit me, who was a new guy. Then he hit Anthony Schmidt, who's a new guy, and Thiago Santos, and Dominic Reyes. He hit them all. He put everybody back. Then he goes to heavyweight, beat Cyril. Then he went and put the old guard back with Stipe. He's beaten all of them. He's been constantly pushing back that next wave of challenger. But there's one more wave. Because no matter how many times you've done it before, there's a real possibility that at some point it catches up to you. Nobody gets out of this thing clean. Habib did it. Georges St-Pierre had a fairy tale ending. But Georges St-Pierre still had moments where things didn't go great. George St. Pierre lost to Matt Serra. That sounds crazy, but it's hard to get through this thing clean. Jones has gotten through this thing clean longer than most people could ever imagine getting through this thing clean. But at the end of the day, there's another young up-and-coming guy that Tom deserves an opportunity.
Some fans believe all this chaos actually points to one thing. Tom probably does have a fight date lined up. The only mystery is which name will be standing across from him. And until the UFC cleans up the mess Jon Jones has left behind, nobody, not even Tom, can say for sure.
It's not about you, Jon. It's not about you. It's not about your life. It's not about your story. If you want to enjoy your life, if you want to be a part of a reality show, if you want to take that money and delay things and hold someone else's dreams back from becoming a reality, that is ducking. That is ducking, because there is a time-honored tradition in this business, in the sport, in combat sports, in fight sports, in sports period, that the whole thing has to move along. It's not about your story. Your story is great and you're living your best life, great. Get rid of that belt. If you want to do that, great. No one will begrudge you. Everyone thinks you've done enough. You've earned enough. You've proven enough. Now allow someone else to have that same story. Allow someone else to write that same story. You are holding him back. You are holding back not only Tom Aspinall, but the rest of the division. So yes, you're missing the point. This isn't about you. It's about the belt. How many more times does Tom have to say it? He would love to fight him. He would love to be he would love to have the opportunity to be that guy. He would love it. Who wouldn't? But he just wants that belt. He wants whatever that belt signifies, whatever it symbolizes, and what it brings. It brings all the things that Jon Jones is enjoying right now, because if Jon Jones wasn't the most decorated champion, wasn't the greatest light heavyweight champion, wasn't the 2-division champion, he wouldn't be doing things like this. He wouldn't get opportunities like this. He wouldn't get the opportunity to live his best life. And now you are stopping someone else from living their best life. Do you get the difference? It's not about you. And so when the legends fought you, and I'm not even talking about when you were champ or tried to become champ, I'm talking about the dudes that fought you on the way up. The important thing in this sport is the belt. The most important thing to the UFC is the belt. That's what everything gears towards. And they have told us they hate when people vacate the title or don't want to defend the title. Well, that's what's happening right now. So tell me where I've been unfair. Tell me where I've lied. Tell me where I've been biased. I saw some people saying yesterday, like, oh, he just defended the title. All right. Are we going to wait till November to strip him? The fight that they want to book is for November. It's for MSG. If he doesn't want to fight today for November, it's time to move on.
And that he's ducking Tom Aspinall and stuff like that. He said, I spoke to the UFC a long time ago about what my future plans are. I haven't really worked out since my last fight in New York City. Honestly, I believe it's in the UFC's best interest to keep presenting me as the company's champion, not Tom. And then he goes on to say, I've just been playing the role of the company man by doing nothing at all and holding all the position. And truthfully, it's been incredibly lucrative. I've made more money off of Tom being the interim champ than Tom has himself. It sucks to see the rest of the division get slowed down like this, but that has nothing to do with me. I don't pull the strings. Well, it does have everything to do with you, Jon. You are the champion and you're the guy that should fight, that should defend or vacate.
Because he's making them all look like idiots, by the way, with them having to support a guy who's literally behaving like a coward as a heavyweight world champion. And it's just so detrimental to the UFC. You look at boxing right now. Boxing's never been stronger, up and down the divisions, but the heavyweight division is flying, and it's because it's being led by a great champion in Alexander Usyk, who is taking on all comers. And by the way, it's not enough to just beat his best contenders once. He beats them twice just to make damn sure that there's not a thing anyone can say about it. That's a real champion. Jon Jones isn't fit to even be spoken about in the same fucking sentence as Alexander Usyk. Not the level of fighter he is, not the level of man he is, right? He doesn't even fucking belong in that fucking category. The way he's carrying himself now as a champion, it is without doubt the most embarrassing way I've ever seen a champion conduct themselves in a title reign. And I interviewed Tom Aspinall in 2023 about this.
Jon Jones has had one fight at heavyweight against Cyril Gane, who, let's be honest, didn't f***ing want to be there. One fight in 3 years, so he's had one fight at heavyweight. Stipe has had one fight in 4 years and he got knocked out.
How can that possibly represent the best fighting the best?
Couldn't agree more, mate, honestly.
It blows my mind. Yeah. That was over a year and a half ago. And look, the clues were always there that Jon Jones was never, not even if you put a fucking gun to his head, going to take that.
And that's where the real frustration sets in. While Jon Jones keeps stalling, retiring, unretiring, teasing a Francis, Ngannou come back and stirring the pot online, Tom Aspinall has done everything by the book. He stayed ready, accepted every opponent thrown his way, remained in camp, and kept fans invested in a division where the real title is just collecting dust. More and more voices from fans to fellow fighters are beginning to say what no one wants to admit. Tom Aspinall's prime is slipping away, all because the UFC refuses to move forward.
You know, it's a situation that is also stuck in the corner for everyone. Like, I mean, for both of them. Like, who is obligated to have a fight that he won? A champ or an interim champ? Right? Who, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think if you win the interim title, the expectation is that a title unification fight should follow.
That's expectation. I totally agree with you. But again, like if interim champ and champ, who is in the position to pick? Because like the only reason why we get here is because the organization makes everything happen. They organize everything. But now, I don't think the blame should be on either Jon or Aspinall.
I think that's a very fair point.
Everybody is claiming what's right. But the only thing is that nobody really want to point the organization, right?
Yes. And because the organization, they pulled Stipe Miocic, they could have booked.
Yeah, if I'm Jon, I want to do like the fight. Basically, my fight in November last year being canceled against Stipe or something. And then maybe that's my retirement fight. Maybe this is my last fight. Then I don't really want somebody to like force me or tell me which one to fight. You know, I think at this point, he has a little bit of a leverage in that one. So, I mean, I'm not saying none of them are right. The situation is just a little complicated.
And it ultimately comes down to the matchmakers.
Jon Jones's demands of money for the Tom Aspinall fight were met by the UFC. They gave him what he was looking for, and he still said no. So he just doesn't want to fight Tom. They literally, according to Ariel, who hates the UFC and would not make this up to make them look better, according to Ariel, they actually gave Jon Jones FU money that he was looking for, and he still turned down Tom Aspinall. So it's not about money. It's not about anything. He just wants nothing to do with Tom. Very interesting from Jon Jones. Now, everyone is unanimously in agreement about this, so we see a few comments here. But the problem is there's still a lot of people and a lot of people that are always going to be talking about Jones and not accepting what should happen here. Logic should dictate that Tom Aspinall should fight Jon Jones. And you see by these comments, that's cool and all, but I thought Dana made it clear we won't do business again with Francis. He won't. Dana is not going to accept this. Ngannou coming back to the UFC. The UFC could consider it, but again, he's got one more fight on his contract at PFL, and that just can't be dealt with in any other way other than him actually fighting out that contract. None of it matters if Jones still has the belt. It's just another guy waiting to fight. I know it'll just be another guy in the logjam in the heavyweight division, but maybe the UFC could use this against Jon to say, listen, we can move on from you. But I don't know. They aren't. They're just going to let him ruin. We are genuinely going years without a heavyweight fight in the UFC because Jon Jones is just allowed to do that. We have never seen this before in the history of the sport. This is fucking insane.
Instead of stripping Jon or setting up a clear path forward, the UFC keeps stringing Tom along, feeding him crumbs. One day it's this opponent, the next it's someone else, all because of shifting plans behind the scenes. And through all of it, Tom hasn't cracked. He's stayed calm, focused, and ready for whatever comes his way. Whether it's the raw power of Volkov, the grappling chaos of Almeida, the polished striking of Cyril Gane, or the big one. If Jon Jones finally steps up and gives fans the showdown they've been waiting for, Tom Aspinall will be ready.
The UFC is about one guy being the champion of each division. I defended the interim once already. It's almost unheard of that. It's unprecedented. I thought it was silly the first time, to be honest. The reason that I did it, the first time I fought Curtis Blades, it went down as a loss. I got injured. The worst moment of my career, one of the worst moments of my life. I wanted to redeem myself and get the legit victory against Curtis Blades because it was unfinished business. Like, that was hurting my ego, and I wanted to prove that I was better than Blades, which I did in the rematch, and I defended the interim. Something else, that particular fight was in Manchester, in my hometown. I wanted to fight in my hometown. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do that again in front of a sold out, brand new Co-op Live arena in Manchester, England. I don't know if I'm ever going to have the opportunity to do that again. So for them two reasons, that's why I defended the interim. I'm not doing it again. Like, I've cleared out the rest of the division, undisputed, and that's it. I deserve a shot at being known as the best heavyweight walking around on planet Earth. Doesn't matter on the opponent, undisputed, mate.
Jon Jones. Oh, yeah. That old one. Living his best life, mate, isn't he, in Thailand? So everybody reaches a sell-by date, don't they? Everybody's got a time limit. He's reached it, and we move on.
I reckon anyone else in that position would have been stripped. I was talking to Adam Cattell about it the other week.
Yeah, seen it.
He should be stripped now.
It obviously was a bit annoying at the time, but it's all in the past now. We're moving forward. Everything's good. We can get fighting again, and I just want to get fighting, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Must be fucking sick of getting asked about that, you know.
It's not the best. You know what? It's better now because I do know what's going on a little bit, and I am going to fight soon, so that's nice. But for like the last kind of 6 months, I've just not known what's going on. Do you know what the worst bit is? Is like, you know this yourself. It's like money, fame, titles, rankings, all that aside, I just love fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like fighting people. That's what I got into it for. I didn't get into it for anything else. All the other stuff is just like nice to have on top. I want to be the best fighter I can be. I love it. I'm in the gym every day. I just want to fight. That's been taken away from me for like nearly a year now. And that's got nothing to do with me, which is, it's a bit frustrating, to be honest, but we are nearly over it now, which is good.
The fact he's not stepping up and fighting yet, he's let the whole MMA fan base down.
I couldn't have somebody else saying that they're going to beat me and not at least fighting. And then if I lose, at least I tried my best.
And it's even more in that case when you're the reigning heavyweight champion of the world and you've got someone hold.
It is crazy.
Heavyweight champion.
It is a crazy situation, but there's a lot of politics, isn't there, in the UFC at the top levels, and it's just like out of my hands, so there's nothing I can really do about it.
And I know what you're going to say, Jon Jones is retired.
Yep.
But if he never steps into the cage with you and you two never fight, what do you think that does for his legacy, but also for your legacy? Is it possible for you to be the best and be the greatest without beating him?
That's someone else's opinion, to be honest. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm not really thinking about that too much, to be honest.
So that sort of stuff doesn't bother you, as long as you're fighting the people that are in front of you.
I can only control what I can control. The other stuff is to do with other people.
Until then, Tom's covering all the bases, training for every scenario, every style, every name they throw at him. He's doing what real champions do, showing up, grinding hard, and staying sharp through the madness. But the clock is ticking. How much longer can the UFC drag this out before fans and fighters start demanding real answers? One thing's certain, Tom Aspinall isn't going to wait around forever. He's here to fight. And whoever signs that contract first is going to find out exactly why nobody wants to be locked inside a cage with him.